February 28, 2026, a missile slams into a school in southern Iran. Within seconds, a building full of children collapses into rubble. Rescuers dig through the concrete, twisted metal, and shattered desks. When the dust settles, more than 160 are dead, most of them girls between the ages of 7 and 12. But here's the question that has shaken governments, militaries, and intelligence agencies around the world. Was this a tragic mistake or a catastrophic failure inside the modern targeting system of war? We're going to walk through the investigation into the strike on the Sharia Tabai Girls' School in Manab, Iran, and the chain of events that may have led to one of the deadliest civilian casualty incidents of the war. Here we're going to look at the video of the strike in the girls' school. Let's start with what we've been reported so far. According to regional reports, a Tomahawk cruise missile strike hit a girls' school in Manab, Iran, in the southern Hormozgan province. Manab sits not far from the Straits of Hormuz, one of the most strategically important waterways on the planet. The region has been seeing intense military activity in recent weeks as tensions between the United States and Iran escalated. The strike reportedly occurred early in the morning. Witnesses described a loud incoming roar, a sudden explosion, buildings collapsing, and chaos as people rushed to pull survivors from the rubble. Initial casualty reports suggested dozens killed. Later estimates suggested the death toll may have climbed much higher. Local footage shows rescue crews digging through the debris, parents searching for children, and entire classrooms reduced to rubble. Iranian officials quickly condemned the strike as a deliberate attack on civilians. U.S. officials, however, have not confirmed that version of events. Instead, early statements suggest the missile was targeting a suspected military or intelligence facility believed to be operating in the area, which leads us to the core question. How does a weapon designed to hit targets with meter-level precision end up destroying a school?
We're learning more about that deadly strike on an Iranian school that killed at least 168 children and 14 teachers. Two sources briefed on the preliminary findings of an ongoing military investigation tell CNN the U.S. military accidentally hit the school. The sources say the mistake likely occurred because of outdated information about a nearby Iranian naval base. Joining us now, CNN State Department reporter Jennifer Hansler. Jennifer, I want to start with you. What more did this initial investigation find?
Well, Wolf, according to these two sources who were briefed on that preliminary finding of the ongoing investigation, U.S. Central Command had used this outdated intelligence from the Defense Intelligence Agency to compile the strike coordinates for this deadly strike. Now, these strikes happened on February 28th when they were targeting an IRGC base in Manab, Iran. However, back in 2013, the base and the school were all part of one compound, according to satellite images. 3 years later, images showed that a fence had been constructed to separate the school from the base. And fast forward, Wolf, to December 2025, there was imaging of school children, people milling about a courtyard, potentially playing in that courtyard. Now, the Defense Intelligence Agency said that there was an investigation ongoing. They would not comment further than that. U.S. Central Command pointed to that ongoing investigation. But Wolf, all of this supporting the growing evidence that the U.S. was behind that deadly strike on the school.
Okay, yes, that is just a deadly strike on a school that just cannot be understood. But to understand what happened, we need to understand the weapon itself. The Tomahawk cruise missile is one of the most precise long-range weapons in the U.S. arsenal. These missiles can travel over 1,000 miles, then fly low to the ground, use terrain mapping radar and GPS to navigate towards their target. Unlike ballistic missiles that arc through the sky, Tomahawks move more like a pilotless aircraft. They follow pre-programmed routes, sometimes weaving through mountains or valleys to avoid radar. When the missile reaches the final phase of flight, it locks onto the target coordinates and strikes with extreme accuracy. Under normal conditions, the margin of error is extremely small, which means when something goes wrong, it usually isn't the missile. It's the intelligence behind the target. Modern precision warfare depends heavily on, number 1, satellite imagery, 2, signals intelligence, 3, drone surveillance, 4, human informants, 5, electronic intercepts. Now, all that data gets analyzed before a strike is approved, but in a fast-moving conflict, intelligence can become outdated quickly. A building to house military personnel yesterday might be something completely different today. And if targeting information isn't updated in time, the results can be devastating. One theory being discussed by analysts is the target misidentification. In other words, the building was believed to be something else. There were a few ways this could happen. 1, dual-use facilities. In conflict zones, buildings are sometimes used for both civilian and military purposes. For example, a school building can be used at night by military personnel or militant groups. If surveillance captures activity during those hours, analysts might conclude the site was a legitimate military target. But if that information was incomplete or outdated, the strike could hit civilians instead. 2, outdated intelligence. Military planners often rely on intelligence gathered days or weeks earlier. If the situation on the ground changes quickly, those coordinates may no longer match reality. And once a missile is launched, it cannot be recalled. 3, signal misinformation. Another possibility is electronic intelligence misreading. For example, if military communications were detected near the building, analysts might assume the structure was connected to a command operations. But signals don't always tell the full story, then only tell part of it. Another explanation is something even simpler, a technical targeting error. Even advanced systems can fail. Possible scenarios include incorrect GPS coordinates, mapping errors, software input mistakes, misaligned target data. These may sound unlikely, but history shows they happen. During the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, coalition forces conducted thousands of precision strikes. Most hit their targets, but a small number resulted in tragic civilian casualties. And those incidents often came down to a simple truth. War moves faster than perfect information. Even with advanced weapons and intelligence network, the fog of war still exists. Technology doesn't eliminate mistakes. It just changes how they happen. Beyond the strike itself, there's another battlefield unfolding right now, the information war. Iranian state media quickly labeled the attack a deliberate massacre of children. That narrative spread quickly across global media and social networks. Images of destroyed classrooms and injured children are powerful. They shaped public perception almost instantly, but governments on all sides know that controlling the narrative matters, because public opinion can influence international alliances, military escalation, diplomatic negotiations, economic sanctions. So both sides are now trying to frame the story. One side says this proves America is targeting civilians. The other side says this was a tragic mistake caused by flawed intelligence. And until independent investigations are conducted, the full truth may take time to emerge. But we got to look at what's happened. The United States has been proven that this is an issue and need to take responsibility. But no one at the top has decided to take responsibility. Someone needs to take responsibility. Usually the person that's the president says the buck stops here, according to former President Truman. but just don't know if that happens anymore. Everybody, keeps deflecting and saying it's not my fault. I don't know anything. It was somebody else's problem. But until we take responsibility as Americans, and especially our military and our government administration, we're not going to have any respectability in the world at all. And we're going to continue to have the propaganda narrative be lost. There's a deeper issue that rarely gets discussed. Modern warfare has become incredibly technological advanced. We have precision weapons, artificial intelligent targeting, satellite surveillance, real-time drone footage, but none of those technologies solve the oldest problem in warfare: human decisions made with incomplete information. Precision weapons only work if the intelligence behind them is correct. And when intelligence fails, precision weapons simply deliver precision destruction to the wrong place. That's the uncomfortable reality behind incidents like this. Right now, the world is still waiting for answers. Was the building misidentified? Was the intelligence outdated? Or was there a deeper targeting failure that no one wanted to admit? Those questions matter, because every missile strike sends a signal, not just militarily, but politically and morally. And when the target turns out to be a school instead of a military facility, the consequences ripple far beyond the battlefield. The real question now is whether the incident becomes a turning point in the conflict, or just another tragic chapter in a long history of wars where the truth takes years to fully emerge. And you can draw your conclusions, but for me, being a military guy for 27 years, both being enlisted and officer, I've seen a lot of levels in the command structure. And targeting like this, a lot of mistakes can be made. And if you don't have what we call a red team that looks at the target packets and checks that this is really going to be something that's going to work or not, or if there's flaws, needs to raise the flag. And usually there's a targeting board that will vet these and give a chance to see that there's any flaws in the process. And unfortunately, the Department of Defense leadership has determined that they want to get rid of a lot of elements in the structure of the command that were used to help in this, and also eliminate a lot of what they call needless rules of engagement. And I kind of halfway concur with that, but it's a hard thing. It's a hard line to look at crossing, because if you don't put enough rules in there to go follow that you don't kill the wrong people, it's going to be consequences that's going to be you have to live with for a long time. And unfortunately, it really makes us as American military and our political leadership look very bad. So it's something that's not going to go away. But if we don't do something and work towards getting it corrected, it's going to continue. And unfortunately, they're trying to implement AI into this, and I'm really makes me nervous when you let a AI overtake the whole process. And you've got to have what we call a human in the loop in this process, so that way it can have some fail-safe capability. And again, I appreciate everybody out there. It's really a hard thing to look at when you're dealing with something that's horrible as this, with these 170 girls and teachers killed, and all these lives lost that can't be taken back. But what we have to do is make it matter that something is fixed here, and take responsibility. And it has to go to the top. So as I always say, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your community, and God bless the USA. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay kind, and as always, have a wonderful rowdy. Take good care of yourself and each other. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. I'll see you in the next video.